What a great audience we have here tonight, and thank you for joining us from wherever you happen to be in the world watching the Huckabee Show here on TBN. Now, as you start the annual process of gathering up your financial records to get your tax returns ready to file by the deadline of April 15th, maybe it's a good time to remind you of an alternative to the massive, confusing, and impossible to navigate U.S. tax code, which is now over 70,000 pages long. Sounds like a government deal, doesn't it? Since 2007, I've been an advocate of what's known as the FairTax. It was the result of getting some of the top economic scholars in the nation to do a little study on how we could get the revenue we need to run the government, but in a much less complicated way. The goal would also be to determine how to obtain that revenue in a way that would stimulate economic growth. The result of their study was the FairTax. In a nutshell, it would start by repealing the 16th Amendment. Now, what's that? That's what created the income tax. We'd repeal it, get rid of the income tax. By eliminating a tax on your income, it would eliminate one of the most despised agencies of government. We would get rid of the Internal Revenue Service. Gone, kaput, bye-bye. Now, with that, do I have your attention? I think so. You see, with the FairTax, April 15th would be just another beautiful spring day. You wouldn't gather up those boxes full of receipts and records. There would be no withholding on your paycheck. No, you'd get your entire paycheck with nothing taken out each pay period. And you wouldn't need a CPA and a tax attorney to figure out how much you owed the government each year. See, the FairTax is basically a tax on consumption rather than a tax on productivity. Our current tax system punishes you for the income that you work for. It punishes you for the good investments that pay off. And then punishes you for saving money instead of wasting it. It even punishes you for dying by imposing the most unfair tax of all, the death tax, paid by your heirs when you die, and sometimes making it necessary for a family to sell a family farm or a business just to pay the government for the value of your assets at the time of your death. At the same time, the current tax code rewards you for making bad decisions and for losing money. Think about that. You're rewarded if you make your money in a criminal enterprise, like selling drugs, prostitution, illegal gambling, or being an illegal immigrant. Because then you're working for cash off the books, not reporting it. Honest people doing honest work pay all the taxes, and dishonest people let you pay their taxes as well, because while the government takes money from your paycheck, criminals don't report income or work for a legitimate business. They don't pay a dime. Under the FairTax, everyone, and I mean everyone, would pay tax at the point of consuming something, not when they produced something. In simple terms, it's a sales tax. It's paid at the point of purchase on something that's bought and paid by the person making the purchase. Prostitutes, pimps, gamblers, illegal immigrants, and drug dealers probably aren't filing a 1040 income tax form. But you know what they do? They buy things. And then they would get to join you in paying taxes. For those who argue that a sales tax can be regressive and take a larger portion of one's income for basic necessities than it would for wealthy people, the FairTax incorporates a prebate. It's a check sent to every American citizen each month, and it covers what would be the tax on basic necessities. It's based on whatever the poverty level is at the time. And because the prebate goes only to citizens, illegal immigrants won't benefit from it. But Americans at the low end of the income level will actually do much better than under the current tax system. In fact, every taxpayer does better. Now, it doesn't increase taxes, and to be fair, it doesn't decrease taxes on its face. What it does, it replaces taxes on what you produce to taxing what you consume. And by the way, if you want to cut your own taxes, you simply buy less, or you buy used things. And since the tax is collected when you buy something, there's just no need to fill that little box with the little pieces of paper and fill out the forms and send to the IRS and then wait for weeks for them to give you your money back. Yeah, because the money taken out of your check each pay period, folks, that's money that you have loaned to the government for free. Under the FairTax, you keep that money. You get it. They don't. Congress has the legislation to ditch the IRS and give us the FairTax, but here's the deal. The power to manipulate the tax code is the real power of Congress, and we've got to convince them to return that power to the people. I think the time has come to eliminate the IRS and make April 15th just another beautiful spring day. Let's tell Congress that the time is now.